Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And we're going to set the record straight on this dude thinking basketball. You guys have probably heard of the channel. You guys have probably seen the channel. A lot of you guys might probably subscribe to that dude. You probably listen to the videos. And no doubt, I don't even know that channel. I've never really watched any of the videos, except I was sent a video clip. Shout out to Joshua Gonzalez, who sent me this clip, man. Once again, Joshua Gonzalez, thank you very much for sending me this email. I know it takes me a little bit of time to get back to you guys sometimes and see these emails, but he sent me an email and a clip to a video done by this guy thinking basketball. And once again, I don't know the channel that well. Never really seen any of the videos. And I tried to watch this video. I can only get through half of it, right? And the title of the video was called, What NBA Players Are Getting Wrong, or What People Get Wrong About Today's NBA. And he started to talk about, a lot of the criticisms that people have about this style of era of NBA. Talking about more specifically the three-point line. And that's really what he focused heavily on. Three-point shooting and the lack of creativity in the NBA that we've seen over the last, 6, 7 years or so. So I wanted to address and really expose this dude and what he was saying, because he clearly doesn't know basketball like that. He doesn't know the game like that, man. He's being disingenuous. To me, when I'm watching the video, he contradicted himself several times in the video, but he's very disingenuous from what I watched in this video. Like I said, I couldn't watch the whole thing. I watched like the first 12 minutes. I think it was like a 22-minute video. I could only get through the first 12 minutes. I was flipping out listening to this nonsense. But we're going to talk about this video, guys. This dude thinking basketball. He's way off on what he was talking about. And we're going to highlight, we're going to break it down and expose these things, man. Because I'm going to educate you, because he wasn't educating. He's disingenuous. Like a lot of these guys, man. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states that's been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, you know I am truly, truly humbled by all the support, man. It really means a lot. Shout out to all the true basketball fans that continue to stand up, man. Like I said, it's very important we do this, man. And it's truly humbling, so much respect. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. Remember, for educational purposes, guys, that's why I'm here, man, to educate you and give you the facts so you can form your own opinion off the facts. Remember, I don't give a damn if you think Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time or not. It doesn't matter. We're talking about the facts, setting the record straight and holding the standard. We will not allow these fools out here to bend reality and rewrite history. And when you talk about, the video that I'm talking about today with this guy thinking basketball, and like I said, it's a very big channel. I think this guy has almost 700,000 subscribers. So my channel is nothing compared to this channel. But it doesn't make a difference how many subscribers I have or how many subscribers I don't have, how many views I have or how many views I don't have, guys. That is irrelevant. How much money I make on here, all this stuff is irrelevant because the facts remain. And that's really all that's important to me is the facts, setting the record straight and stopping these fools from rewriting history. And when I'm watching this video that was sent to me, done by Thinking Basketball, I believe this was maybe a month or two ago. I can't remember when the video was done, so it's not like his latest video. This dude contradicted himself left and right. Now, in the video, he's focusing on, the criticisms of ex-NBA players and a lot of the things that we talk about here on social media as true basketball fans. And he focused on the three-point shooting aspect, right? He played clips of NBA players saying that there's too many three-point shots being taken, blah, 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 blah. And that's really what he focused on in this video. And he put the blinders on, man. And that's the problem that I have. He put the blinders on and got so wrapped up in trying to debunk this too many threes are being shot idea and, the lack of creativity in the game that he kind of contradicted himself and was, like I said, to me, he made him look like an idiot. Like I said, I could not even listen to this video. And I said, I don't even know this dude. First of all, his voice is boring and basic. It's just, like I said, there's no flair to this guy, man. How could you sit and listen to a 20, 25-minute video of this guy talking in that monotone voice? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Even my wife heard me listening to it, and she was like, who is that talking? And I was like, some dude, I'm trying to listen to this video. Even she couldn't stand the dude's voice. Once again, the dude has no energy when he speaks. But anyway, everyone can't be like me. We all do different videos. We all speak differently. I get all that. But that was my first impression of the jumps. I can't listen to this guy talk like this for 20 minutes. But his focus, like I said, was to, debunk the whole three-point shooting is a problem, or there's too many threes being taken, there's a lack of creativity in the game. He's trying to claim that these guys are more skilled than the guys in the past. That's basically what his, stance is. And I'm telling you guys, I told you, I barely got through the first 15 minutes of this video. I could barely do that because in the first couple minutes of the video, this dude literally said some crazy stuff that I was like, I can't believe he just said this. Now, let's start from the top here. Now, in the beginning of the video, he took 3 different games. He said the 1993 finals between Michael Jordan's Bulls and Charles Barkley's Suns. It's funny, he just randomly picked that game. I doubt it. Then he picked the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2009 with Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. And then he picked a game, I believe, from this season with the Spurs versus somebody. I can't remember who the other team was, right? But it's not really important, for the purpose of my video and what I'm telling you guys or what I'm talking about, what I heard him say. So I had to write down a bunch of stuff here. You guys know I don't like writing this stuff down, but I had to write this stuff down to be fair to him, right? And also, once again, to have the historical context and have the records right. We must have this stuff historically right. So I wanted to write down the things that he said and what I have to say in response to this stuff. So in the beginning of the video, he starts off by showing the 1993 finals game between the Phoenix Suns and the Chicago Bulls. And the first statements that he makes is basically knocking the Chicago Bulls or that era of NBA, that style of play, for allowing Bill Cartwright to take isolation shots, to isolate on the block against his man. So he's like, oh, why would Bill Cartwright be getting an isolation look when you have Michael Jordan on the court? So let's start with that right there, because right there that exposes him. And I don't know how old this dude is. I don't know if it's a group of people that run this channel, if it's just one person. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't know how old this person is, but when he's talking, I don't think that he watched basketball live in the 90s. I don't think that he was around for that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's older than me. Maybe he's been watching basketball since the 70s. I don't know. But when you speak the way you speak and you start talking about why is Bill Cartwright isolating on the block, that lets me know you don't know why. And I'm going to tell you why. So, first of all, when he's questioning why Bill Cartwright's allowed to isolate on the block, right, you're taking away a shot from Michael Jordan, essentially what he was saying. Why is a role player isolating on the block? He was almost scoffing at that notion, that idea. See, these guys don't know the game. So let me break this down to you for my man thinking basketball, because you're not thinking. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to educate you on this. If you know Chicago Bulls, if you knew the way they played the game, if you knew Michael Jordan, the Phil Jackson, how they approach these games, how did they approach it, guys? What did Michael Jordan, the Bulls, often do? For someone like Bill Cartwright specifically, they tried to get him touches early in the game. Get your role guys involved in the game early. Get them some touches. Get their confidence up. Get them in the flow of the game. So the Bulls would often do that. They would feed Bill Cartwright in the post. Get him some touches early on. Try to get him, into the game, into the flow. You often would hear things like, hey, if the big man runs the court, then you should feed the big man. You want to pay him for putting the work in. He ran down the court, so you want to give him something. So you probably heard that back in the day. Hey man, the big man ran the floor. You want to pay him, give him some, give him a pass, hit him with that, right? Because he went out there and gave that effort. Same thing for the Bill Cartwright scenario. This guy's wondering why Bill Cartwright's getting the ball on the block at the beginning. Literally the first shot of the game was Bill Cartwright on the block isolating against his man. And he's like, why are we doing this? Why are they doing an isolation with Bill Cartwright? Because who the hell's Bill Cartwright? He's not skilled. He's just some role player. When you have Michael Jordan on the court is basically what he was saying. And this is why, my man. That's why. Now you know. This is how the Bulls approach these games oftentimes. Michael Jordan would feed Bill Cartwright. Get the other guys involved so that they can be there later in the game. So that they can start the game off with that confidence. Feeling good. Getting in the flow. This is how you get your role players involved. Do you not understand this thinking basketball? I don't get you. Like, why didn't you say that? You're being disingenuous. One of the first things that he said in the video, one of the first comments that he made was that the Bulls went into the triangle, right? He goes, oh, here goes the Bulls. They won the tip. They go right into the triangle. And then they looked for isolation. They looked for Bill Cartwright in the post. But when they ran the triangle, the pass was to Horace Grant. The pass goes to Horace Grant on the wing. And his comment was, this is what he says. This is how you know you're being disingenuous. He says, Horace Grant is no threat to shoot from out there, so his man can sag off him. That's a disingenuous statement. Because the reason why his man can sag off him is not because Horace Grant doesn't have skills, because he can't shoot he's not a threat from three. It's that's not the way the game was played. Power forwards were not taking three-point shots like that if that was not part of your game. That was just not Horace Grant's game. Horace Grant's game was to rebound, set screens, and be effective around the rim, right? Play defense, right? That was his job. His job was not to shoot three-point shots. So it's not that Horace Grant, oh, he's no threat to shoot. He's not going to shoot. He can't shoot. He has no skills. These guys couldn't do that. They couldn't do it. No, back in them days, guys played a role, and they were okay playing that role. Now, guys are knocked for being role players. Like this guy is basically saying, why is Bill Cartwright posting up? He's a role player. You have Michael Jordan there. Because once again, Michael Jordan is a team. It's a team game, is it not? These are the same people that would say that Michael Jordan's championships are a team accomplishment, but then you're knocking Michael Jordan and the Bulls coaching staff for allowing the role players to have a role, to take shots. I mean, at one point in the video, he literally said that they're taking away shots from the star players. Dude, this is basketball. You have guys on the team. This is what we're talking about. The great players allow the role guys to take shots, to have a role, to hustle for the rebounds. I don't get what he's saying here. So you're being disingenuous by trying to make it seem like Horace Grant had no skills to shoot. He can never learn to shoot. He's no threat to shoot. That's why his man can sag off. No, his man's sagging off because that's the way the game is played. He knows that Horace Grant is not going to shoot the three. Because once again, if you start doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, that you're not accustomed to doing, that's not your role to do, your job to do, then Phil Jackson would have called the timeout and probably subbed him out and be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you taking a three-point shot? You're not a three-point shooter. Now everyone thinks they're a three-point shooter. Thinking basketball, that's completely off to me, but he thinks it's okay. So you're disingenuous right there. You don't know about Bill Cartwright, so I just educated you there. Now you know why the Bulls, Michael Jordan would allow Bill Cartwright to take the first 3 or 4. I mean, there were games that I've watched, guys, in the past where Michael Jordan didn't even shoot for like the first 3 to 4 minutes of the game. He's out there facilitating, allowing other guys, Scottie Pippen to take shots, Horace Grant to take shots, Bill Cartwright, B.J. Armstrong, Paxson, whoever it is. He's allowing them to get the shots off, them to get into the flow of the game. Michael Jordan can flip the switch. The great players, they can get theirs. They're going to be able to be okay. The great players can do that. They can allow their teammates, they can just kind of go with the flow sometimes. This is what the great players can do. That's why I tell you, the burden is on the great players to make the adjustments, to sacrifice for their teammates, for those role guys. Thinking basketball doesn't think so. So remember, his main points were to attack. It's just a bunch of threes. Everyone plays the same. And there's no creativity in the game. That's what he was basically focusing on in this video. And that's what exposed him. Because he contradicted himself several times in this video. So he said after a couple minutes of the video, he said that the great thing about the NBA, right, over the history of the NBA, is that it flows and evolves over time. So I asked this guy, Thinking Basketball, are you going to sit here and tell us with a straight face that what we're watching today over the last 5 years is an evolution? This is the game going up is an evolution. Because remember, evolution is supposed to be an improvement. So that's what he's saying. The game, it flows and evolves over time. That was his exact words. I don't think any true fan of basketball, it's like I said, not about the errors. No fan of basketball can sit there and tell us that what we're watching today over the last, like I said, 3 to 4 years, 5 years, is an evolution in the right direction. I don't think you can say that. That's why they've had to come with so many things to help the NBA. Right? But Thinking Basketball doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to look at the reality. He don't want to look at the facts. So he'll say that, but then say that, or make it seem as if the NBA has evolved now. I don't believe that it's evolved or gotten better. It's gotten worse. It's gotten stale. This is part of the problem for the Olympic team. The NBA, the USA product, it's gotten stale. We haven't evolved. That's why the other teams are beating us or, more competitive against us. And what would someone like Thinking Basketball say? Oh, those guys have gotten better. That's why the world caught up. They love to say the world caught up. Like I said, if we're miles ahead of somebody, how do they catch up to us? If we're always innovating and evolving, how would they catch up to us if we were already that far ahead? How? You know how? Because we got stale, stagnant, and we stayed still as other countries and places got better. We stayed the same. We didn't get better as they were getting better. You see what I'm saying, guys? Those are the facts. But he won't say that, though. So let's think about something else that he said here. And this, I was going to turn the video off just after this statement to me, guys. And this really exposes him. And a lot of these clowns like Jimmy High Roller, these big YouTubers out here, they're disingenuous, guys. And they're weird, man. So he said this. Remember, these people are apologists for this era of NBA. They make excuses for this era of NBA. And that's what this guy Thinking Basketball is doing. He said this one, I wrote his exact words down, guys. Everything that I'm quoting him saying is exact words. I made sure I wrote down exactly. He says, looking This is what his opinion is. We are looking at the highest quality basketball in NBA history. That's his statement, guys. This is Thinking Basketball. That's the title of his channel. Thinking Basketball. With a picture of a head and a light bulb in it. To let you know that he knows the deal. He knows the game. He's done the research. He has all the fancy clips for you. So he's come to the conclusion that this is the highest quality basketball in NBA history. So when he made that statement, I almost turned the video off right there because that wasn't even that far into the video that he made that statement. I think that might have been 5 minutes into the video that he made that asinine statement. This is the highest quality, guys, basketball in NBA's history. This is his opinion on this. Insane. So let's think about this now, right? If this is the highest quality of basketball, that lets me know once again that you did not watch any other eras of NBA. You did not. I don't care what film you studied. I don't care what film you watched. I'm so tired of these guys. Oh, I watched this much film. I studied this. You guys ain't studying. You don't know what you're watching. You don't know what you're looking at. It's like people reading off stats, but they don't know what stats they're looking at. They don't know how to read the stats. It's the same fools that will tell you LeBron James is a better shooter than Michael Jordan because he shoots a higher field goal percentage than Michael Jordan's career. This is the way that these people look at stats, the way they look at numbers. This dude don't know what the hell he's talking about, man. You don't know the damn game. The highest quality basketball in NBA's history. So you won't mention the travels and the carries that are never called out there. They're never called. Are we making this up? Am I just making that up, guys? You see it? But this guy's thinking basketball? What are you thinking about? What are you watching, my man? You don't see these guys carry the ball and travel all up and down the court? You're going to tell us what? It's a gather step? Are you one of those fools? Because I heard him bring up the term gather step in his video. Trying to talk about that creativity that we were talking about is lacking in the NBA. He tried to talk about creativity and talk about the moves that these guys are allowed to do, that they can do. And he brought the gather step up. Dude, they're allowed to take 4 or 5 steps. They're allowed to put their whole hand under the basketball. But you're going to say they're more skilled today. That doesn't make sense. You're not more skilled when the standard is lowered for you. That means that you're not as skilled. Like remember, I gave you guys the analogy, right? When you play a sport, right? I coach young kids, right? When the kids are 6, 7, 8 years old, the standard is lowered for them. And how is it lowered? They lower the rim for the kids. They allow them to travel more, right? Take those steps. They don't have to dribble the ball every single time. They're allowed to carry the ball. They're allowed to do, so you've lowered the standard for them because they're not as good as older kids or as developed as older kids. And as you get older, the standard is raised for you, except for the NBA. When you get to the NBA, the standard is lowered now. Thinking Basketball thinks this is the highest quality of basketball in the history of the NBA, which leads me to believe that he's only been watching basketball for 10 seasons. There's no way you can think that the game is at the highest level when the star players are load managing all the time. They're flopping all up and down the court. Guys are just, like I said, get hurt for no reason now. Guys are out here just dribbling and doing whatever I don't even know what they're doing out here half the time. They're allowed to do whatever they want. Highest quality of basketball, though, this guy will say, when there's no defense being played like that, right? There just isn't. There's no competitiveness like that. These guys are not true professionals like that. They don't have no heart, no grit. These guys are a bunch of big kids out there, a bunch of goofs. But it's the highest level of basketball according to Thinking Basketball. Now let's go into more things that he said here. So in that same regard, when he was talking about Bill Cartwright and some of the other lesser guys taking shots, right? He was talking about some of the role guys. He said, less touches for stars and big men are clogging the lane. This is what he said. Big men are clogging the lane as less touches for stars. So once again, you're highlighting what we talk about oftentimes for previous eras. How to be a role player mattered and it was respected back in the day. And how the great stars, right, the leaders of teams, allowed their role players to take shots. So he's saying here it's a knock on those guys because they're taking shots away from the star players. That's how you win championships. Was Bill Russell taking the most shots on his team? No, he wasn't. He wasn't the main scorer on his team. Other guys were allowed to play their roles. So we're supposed to be mad at Sam Jones for taking these clutch shots at the end of these games and not deferring to Bill Russell because Bill Russell was the greatest player, the star of the team. No, it doesn't make any sense. Once again, guys play their roles, and as a leader, you sacrifice. Thinking basketball won't say that. So it's a problem for him, for stars to get less touches. That's called sacrifice, my man. You're allowing your teammates to go out there and play that role because that's the only way you're going to win. You need those guys to win. Michael Jordan's not going to win by taking 40 shots a game. Will Chamberlain was averaging 50 points a game and still couldn't win. You need the other guys doing stuff. The only way the other guys are going to help you is if you allow them to help you. LeBron James still ain't figured this out. LeBron James ain't figured this out. And I'm pretty sure thinking basketball is a LeBron James god. And the reason why I would say something like that is because I was scrolling through his channel to see some of the videos that he made because I didn't want to judge this guy too harshly off of some of this one video that I saw. And I started looking at some of the titles of his videos. My goodness, this dude is out there for clickbait. That's how some of the titles of videos came across to me. Just straight clickbait titles. Right? He contradicts himself in several titles I saw, and he had one video there labeled. This is the title of the video, guys. I wrote it down. Why isn't LeBron James aging? That was the title of his video. Why isn't LeBron James aging? So you label that title. I don't need to watch the video. There's no need for me to watch that video. You title the video that. So regardless of what you've said in the video, you put that there. Why isn't he aging? Really? This is what you're going with, thinking bad. You're really thinking about this, and you don't think LeBron James has aged? Why isn't he aging? I mean, it baffles me how some of these clowns out here will think about or think that LeBron James is winning the battle against Father Time. I told you, Jimmy High Roller has a video, same thing. Oh, LeBron James is, beating Father Time. And then you have this fool over here. Why isn't LeBron James aging? LeBron James isn't aging, but he's played 82 games one time his entire career. Go look at how many games he's missed in LA, but he's not aging. I don't understand what this guy's talking about. This dude load manage all the time, but he's not aging because what? He averaged 25 points, 7 rebounds, or 8 rebounds and 8 assists. His numbers are proving that he's not aging. That's what these guys are going with. When all that does is expose this weak Arab NBA. But this is what Thinking Basketball says. So you know he's a LeBron James guy. I don't give a damn what he says. When you tell a video that way, you expose yourself. When you say that this is the most highest quality basketball that we've seen in NBA's history, that lets me know all I need to know. So, I wrote down something else here. Let's continue this. Now, one of the main points that he was trying to make, and this is really weird to me, what he says here, it doesn't make any sense, is that there are not more three-point shots being really taken necessarily. His point is that there were a lot of longer twos being taken back in the 90s. And absolutely, I agree with that. There were longer twos being... That's why the NBA moved the three-point line in. A lot of these fools out here think they moved the three-point line in because these guys had no skills. They couldn't shoot from that far away. No, they moved the line in to get these guys to take the threes. So like he just said, if they're taking all long twos, once again, let's look at Michael Jordan's shot chart. Oftentimes, and I've told you guys about this, you'll see Michael Jordan take shots 1 or 2 feet inside the three-point line. He often did that. He took a lot of long twos, so that's why when they moved the three-point line in, it fell right into his wheelhouse. He was already taking those shots, but now they're threes, not twos. So Thinking Basketball says that's why there are more threes being taken, because those long twos have been phased out, and now they're taking slightly longer shots. So I'm going to read a comment that he made, guys, and let's think about this. The major increase in three-point attempts is from all these long twos turning into slightly, keyword here, slightly, guys, slightly longer shots to pick up an extra point. So it sounds good what he said right there, and I agree with that. Longer twos are being phased out. But what really bothers me here is that, once again, he's being disingenuous, because look what he says here. Look at the way he words this. And listen, I'm pretty much sure that, guys like this guy Thinking Basketball who don't put themselves on camera, they talk behind the screen. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. They're reading from a script. So I really don't have any, I don't feel bad or have any sympathy for something that you may have said when you're reading off a script. When you see me do my videos, I misspeak sometimes. I might be a little bit off here and there, right? Maybe I said something that you didn't understand or really, get what I was saying. I'm not reading from a script here, though. I'm literally going off the top of my head, and I'm giving you guys, the facts here of the matter. These guys will read a script, and it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're reading something. It doesn't sound ridiculous when you say it, when you read it. So he said that the long twos are turning into slightly longer shots just to pick up an extra point. So basically what he's saying is like, oh, these guys are taking one step, back to go behind the line now instead of shooting it one step in front of the line, and they're getting an extra point for that. So what's wrong with that? He's basically saying, right, we sound ridiculous arguing and complaining about guys taking longer shots when he's saying they're slightly longer. They're only taking one step behind the line. That's a complete lie. That's BS. This man said that in the video, and then in the next clip he showed Trae Young taking a three-point shot like 7 feet behind the damn line. So you can't say that the long twos have turned into slightly longer shots. They're way longer. We got guys shooting from half court now, thinking that's cool, thinking that's a regular thing. You got guys taking threes 4, 5, 6, 7 steps behind the three-point line. So once again, this is not them taking a slightly longer shot to get an extra point, and you're like, oh, what's the difference between you taking one step in and one step behind the line? These guys are taking these shots from the damn parking lot, and these guys think it's okay? That's basketball. Oh, they're taking slightly longer. You sound like an idiot, man. Slightly longer, and then you show Trae Young shoot a damn three-point shot like 10 feet behind the line. That's what we're talking about. That's not slightly longer. That's these guys chucking up shots. But he's going to say that this is the best era of NBA, the highest quality basketball being played, guys shooting from the half-court line, guys shooting from 10 feet behind the line, chucking up bricks, hitting the side of backboards. Get out of here. You sound insane, man. And I'm going to take it a step further here and expose him just one step even further, guys. You got to tell you, these guys contradict themselves all the time. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just don't, because they're being disingenuous. He's not really trying to give you the facts and educate you here. He's trying to skew these things so this era of NBA looks great, so that he can say, yeah, man, it's the best basketball. Look at these guys. And they really think that they're educating you. He thinks that he's smarter than everyone else here. I can tell by the way this guy's talking. He thinks he's breaking down some video. Oh, look at this guy. You guys are not breaking the damn thing down. You sound ridiculous. When these guys try to break down a video of the 90s, they sound insane. Like I said, when he talked about Bill Cartwright, you could tell he didn't grow up in the 90s. Or you did not watch this stuff. Or you're being disingenuous. God damn, man. So here we go. This video's gonna go long, guys. So be prepared, man. It's gonna go long. I gotta finish this real quick. So I wrote this down. Another statement that he made is word for word. I wrote everything word for word. So remember that what he said about the long twos. Slightly longer now. You're a liar. You're lying. They're not slightly longer, dude. You sound ridiculous. And also, let's understand something. When he says that it's all the long twos have turned into threes. No, that's not. No, it's not, dude. Stop it right now. Yes, there were a lot of long twos and mid-range shots being taken. It's not just long twos. The mid-range is completely gone now, we're talking about, in most of these games. So you either have free throws, three-point shots, or maybe a dunk or layup. That's it. There's nothing in between. That's not just long twos. But he tries to make it seem like it's the long twos that have been phased out in replace of threes. That's not true. Some of those, yes. A lot of that, yes. But that's not all of it. All right, how many times have you guys watched a recent game where a guy will have a wide open layup attempt and he'll kick it out to a three-point shot, a shooter? They didn't do that in the 90s. Those guys looked for a higher quality shot. The basketball that I remember watching was guys looking, not all the time, for their best quality shot. Because that's another thing that these guys do in their videos. When they do these reaction videos and they'll put an old film up and they'll talk to you about what's going on in that play. They take a couple of plays from a game and they try to make that seem as if that's how the game was played back then. We're talking about consistency, all right? In this era of NBA, when we talk about the consistency of these games, what you're getting is consistently shooting threes from long ways out. Guys flopping around. This is consistent. So when he points out some of these things from the 90s, oh, these guys took a lot of long twos, that's not all the time. Some guys did take long twos, but a lot of guys took good mid-range shots. They took good quality shots. They took shots in rhythm, in the offense, in the flow of the game. What do you watch now? He showed a bunch of clips of this era of NBA. It's laughable that these guys are playing these clips thinking that they're showing you something great. How many times did I see him show a clip, and I was showing my wife this stuff, of a guy chucking up a three? There's no one under the rim. He showed Trae Young shooting that shot from like 5, 6, 7 feet behind the line. There was 19 seconds on the shot clock when Trae Young shot that shot, guys. 19 seconds of a 24-second shot clock. 5 seconds went off, and there was no one under the rim. And some of his teammates weren't even across half court yet. And there he goes, chucking up a long three. That's not a good shot. That's not in the flow of the game or the flow of the offense. That's not exciting. That's not fun to watch. That's what we're talking about. That's consistently happening. But thinking basketball makes it seem as if, no, these guys take great looks. It's only the long twos that are phased out. You sound like an idiot, man. My God, man, I never respected you. I had no channel, but I can't respect you now. I will never watch your videos. Insane. Now, listen to this. This is where these guys, they lose themselves. The contradictions are ridiculous, man. He says, they are mostly complaining, talking about people, the ex-NBA players complaining about the guys shooting threes. They are mostly complaining about the shots being longer or converting at a slightly lower percentage of the long twos that they replaced. So once again, he's doubling down on this, basically saying guys are complaining because shots are being longer. Wait a second. I thought you just told, I just read the last comment. He said long twos are turning into slightly longer shots. So see, that keyword slightly is very important there, guys, because you're trying to create two different dynamics here. Either they're taking slightly longer shots, which would make your argument look better, because basically what you would be saying is like, hey, these guys are taking one step back to get an extra point. That seems smarter to me, doesn't it? Seems like it would make more sense. If we're going to take a shot right in front of the three-point line, why don't we take one step back and get an extra point for it? Sounds great when you say it like that on paper. But that's not what's going on in the game. Like I just said, these guys are taking shots from way behind the line. And that's not how the game was played. Like, everyone wasn't taking shots right inside the three-point line. Like, he's making it seem as if these long twos were 1 foot inside the line. It's insane for him to make these kind of statements. But now he's saying that people are mostly complaining about the shots being longer. So wait, you're saying that the sights are slightly longer, but now you're saying that people complain about them being longer. Yes, that's the problem. You guys are chugging up weird shots. They're not in the flow, right? There's no bounce there. So he says, shots being longer or converting at slightly lower percentage. Remember, key here, slightly lower percentage of the long twos that they replaced. So he's saying here that the guys are still making the same percentage. And he went to some numbers here. He said in 1993, the NBA shot 47% on all shots. These are all shots, guys, not 3-point and twos. These are all combined, threes and twos. 47% was the average, he said. 47% 93, which is really good. 09, it was 46%. All right, so pretty much the same, a little bit slightly lower. And he said today it's at 47%. So what he's saying and what he's trying to highlight there by putting those numbers out is that he's saying that even though guys are taking more longer shots today, they're taking those threes and not the mid-range or the long twos, they're still making them at the same percentage. That's what he's saying. That's a lie. Again, another lie, because once again, he's being disingenuous. He's not giving you the facts, man. Either that or he's just an idiot. You just don't know what the hell you're talking about, dude. So you're going to sit there with a straight face again and try to tell us that the guys are shooting the same percentage as the guys back in the day, even though they're taking farther shots, even though we can clearly see these guys miss way more shots. So let's think about this now. So the percentage is the same, right? 1993, 47%. Today, 47%. Let's think about this now, all right? Now, I looked at the shots on average, okay? So in 1993, right, all the shots for a team, right? So for example, the Chicago Bulls, let's say they shot 7,000 field goal attempts that season, right? They took 7,000 shots on the season, okay? What I looked at was the average number of field goals attempted for every NBA team. So I went to that list, and the average in 1993 was 7,048. So on average, each NBA team on average took 7,048 field goal attempts, regardless of 3-point or a regular field goal. It's all field goal attempts. 7,048, that's the average team, okay? I looked into the average field goal attempts for this era, for this season, guys, this season that just passed. And the average, this is the average, 7,318. So we're talking about on average, almost 300 more shots on average for each team, guys. This for each team is getting almost 300 more shots a game. So if they're shooting 47%, but they're taking more shots, then what does that show, guys? That they're missing more shots. That's the key here. He tried to make it seem like they're not missing more shots, that they're taking the same, or taking more shots and shooting the same percentage, but they're missing more shots because you're taking more shots. He tried to make it seem that they're only taking longer shots. You're not giving the facts, man. You're being disingenuous. You're not making your point. You're contradicting yourself. You literally exposed yourself. So I've given you guys the same analogy here. If I take 100 shots, right, to shoot 47%, I need to make 47 shots. 47, right, which allows me to miss 53 shots. Okay. But if I take 200 shots, right, to shoot 47%, I would need to make like 85 or something like that, let's say. Let's just go 85 shots. So yes, you've made more shots than the guy who took 100, right? But you also missed a lot more to shoot that percentage. You were allowed to miss more because you took more. Do you guys understand this? I thought this is pretty basic stuff. But he's thinking basketball, not thinking. So he says that even though these guys are taking further shots now, they're shooting at the same percentage. So basically saying that guys are not missing more shots and that people are complaining about them, taking long shots and missing more, but they're not. That's what he's saying. He's off on that. They do miss more. They're missing more shots. I just broke it down to you guys. The percentage is the same, but they're taking more shots. So they're missing more. So if you break it down to like a 47% clip, right? That would be the case, guys. So he doesn't make any sense there. The next thing he says, and this, I'm going to end it on this, guys. I can't even go on anymore. I'm completely, like, I know this video's going super long, and I'm completely disgusted with this guy's video and everything that he was saying, man. It just doesn't make any sense. He said at one point, he's talking about the creativity, right? He played clips of ex-NBA players talking about the lack of creativity from a lot of these players, And this man went on to say that, they talk about Magic Johnson in the past as a Magic Johnson or a Jason Kidd or some of these great passers. And this dude literally said with a straight face, the best passer to maybe ever live is playing right now. He's talking about Nikola Jokic. This man said that Nikola Jokic might be the best passer to ever live. So you're telling me that the best passer to ever play in the NBA has never led the NBA in passing? Never led the NBA in passing once. I don't give a damn about this year he finished second or the other year he finished third or second. I don't want to hear about how many times he finished in the top 3. Once again, we all know that the assists are not counted the way they were counted in the 90s, guys. They're inflated now, but thinking basketball won't tell you that. So he talks about Nikola Jokic, a brilliant passing. And yes, we all say Nikola Jokic is a great passer for a big man. Once again, playing in the weakest, softest era of NBA in history. But according to Thinking Basketball, this is the highest quality of basketball ever. So he thinks that Nikola Jokic might be the greatest passer in NBA's history, but he's never led the NBA in passing. I don't see how you can make that stretch. You're going to tell me that someone's the greatest scorer in NBA's history, but they've never led the league in scoring, not even one time in their career? Then how great are they if they're not even greater than their contemporaries? You can't even lead the NBA in assists, but you're the greatest passer in NBA's history, possibly? Magic Johnson led the NBA in assists several times. John Stockton, Bob Cousy, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, right? These guys led the league in assists because they were great passers. I don't know how you can be labeled as the greatest passer of all time, but you never once led the league in passing. I don't get that. Yes, Nikola Jokic has finished towards the top in passing, but he's never led the league. Never led the league. But you're the greatest passer of all time? If you want to say he's the greatest passer of this era, the 2020s, if you want to say that the greatest passer or playmaker of his era, then maybe you can make that statement. But when you want to put in historic, you sound ridiculous, man. I'm not putting a guy who never led the league in assists one time in the weakest era of assist men. I'm going to label him the greatest passer of all time? Remember, this is the same guy in the beginning of the video said that this is the highest quality of NBA that we've ever seen in history. This is where this guy is with it. This is the same guy that has a video on his channel that says, LeBron James, why isn't LeBron James aging? What are you watching, my man? He's not aging. He said that the ball handling in this era is innovative. How do you say the ball handling in this era is innovative? Innovative ball handling? Carrying and being allowed to take 4 or 5 steps is innovative? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about, dude? How are you a fan of basketball? That's not basketball what you're watching, but you think it is. Oh, they can do the gather step now. These guys can do Euro steps around. He was impressed with these guys traveling? You're impressed with guys carrying the ball? How is it impressive to you? Wouldn't it be more impressive for these guys to be held to a higher standard, a more stringent rule book? To me, that would be more impressive. That would show high quality basketball. But not Thinking Basketball. He thinks that these guys are innovative with their ball handling. So let's see how much we can carry without getting called for is innovative to him. And it's funny. He also said something about guys fronting the post now and how guys didn't front the post. Or, once again, he's just picking out a couple of plays from a video that he watched and how these guys were not fronting the post. They were playing behind the man, the post. Yeah, once again, no duh, you must not know the game. You're talking about fronting a post. And you talk about a play with Russell Westbrook. He goes, oh, you see how Russell Westbrook attempted to front the post so they couldn't bring the ball, pass the ball to the post? What? If you're a smaller guy and you're guarding, remember Russell Westbrook in this play, he was guarding a bigger player. And he was saying that Russell Westbrook did a good thing by fronting the post. That was a basic basketball play. The play that he talked about a guy not fronting the post was a guy guarding his man. When you're guarding your man straight up, why would you front the post? If I'm 6'10", 6'9", I'm guarding another 6'9", 6'10" guy, why do I have to front the post? Why would I front the post? Because the skills of the guys back in the day, they could lob the ball right over your head, and another guy's got a dunk attempt or a layup attempt because you're fronting the post. Because if you're fronting the post, maybe I'll pass the ball to the top of the key to make the entry pass easier. I don't know. The reason why Russell Westbrook was fronting the post in that specific play is he was shorter than the guy. So he was fronting, he can't stand behind him. That's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. Thinking basketball. You're an idiot. And at one point, he called Michael Porter Jr. a lethal three-point shooter because he was trying to make a point. He's like, oh, you see that guy had to go, he had to jump and go for the ball fake. He didn't even go for a ball fake. There was no ball fake. The dude, Michael Porter Jr. came off an illegal screen that he didn't talk about, came off the screen at the top of the key, caught the pass, turned, the defender jumped in the air for whatever the reason was, and then Michael Porter Jr. drove the ball to the lane. And they talked about the lane was wide open because all three-point shooters. Dude, once again, he talked about the guy leaving his feet because Michael Porter Jr. is a lethal three-point shooter. Really, Michael Porter Jr. is a lethal three-point shooter. Why? How is he a lethal three-point shooter? Let's think about this for a second here. Michael Porter Jr., guys, I believe he's 28th this season in three-point makes per game. 28th. Does that sound lethal to you? Not to me. He shot 40. He's 47th in the NBA this year in three-point percentage. I believe he shot 39% from three-point range this season, which is not bad, but it ain't good for this era. Once again, this weak era of NBA, these guys shoot only threes. 39% ain't good. So he's 47th in the league in three-point percentage. Is that lethal to you? Is that lethal? The wording of this guy, disingenuous. He's trying to pump these guys up. Last year, he shot, I forgot, he was 45th in three-point percentage, Michael Porter Jr., but he's a lethal three-point shooter, according to Thinking Basketball. Oh, man. This might be my longest video ever. I think I'm going to do a live later on this same topic because I'm a little aggravated right now with this dude's channel because you have 700,000 subscribers. You have all this, you have a platform like that, and these are the videos that you're doing, this is what you're talking about in these videos. And like I said, I'm not saying that there's no value to his channel. I don't know all his videos. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know him, subscribe to the channel, watch the videos. I'm not saying there's no value in any of his content, but his content in relation to this, trying to stand up for this era of NBA like it's so great, there is a three-point problem, dude, and I just broke it down to you in this video here, and you've excused it. These guys, the game is, how is it the highest quality of NBA when guys are traveling and carrying the ball over the court? How is the NBA that great and at the highest level, according to this guy, when you need a play-in tournament, you need an in-season tournament, you need flopping guidelines, load managing guidelines? What? You gotta be kidding me, man. That's not the highest quality NBA. That's what I'm saying. These guys don't know what they're talking about. This dude is probably, 20 years old, man. Like I said, man, get some swag, man. Your monotone voice in these videos, man, and your information's off. You're not making any sense. You don't know why Bill Cartwright's taking a shot in the post? Then go learn about that, all right? You guys know that these are the facts, man. Like I said, I don't respect that video. That video was trash. So shout out to Joshua Gonzalez again for sending me that video, man. I didn't watch the whole thing. I couldn't watch the last 6 minutes of it. I God knows what else he was talking about in that video, man. But it's just very disturbing. This guy thinks Nikola Jokic is the greatest passer of all time. He thinks this is the highest quality of NBA in NBA's history. These guys are innovative ball handlers. Innovative is the words he used. And he thinks that the NBA three-pointers have just replaced long twos. That's all that they've done. He doesn't see a problem with it. And he says that they're shooting the same percentage, but he won't account for them taking more shots today. So they're missing more, dude. If you're shooting the same percentage, but you're taking more shots, that means you're missing more. Gotta know that? You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.